So the story of this album begins at my wife and I's studio at the Grand Army Hall in Scituate, Massachusetts. For a couple of years, we were kind of looking around for a space where I could set up a recording studio, and my wife Kayte could set up a place for photography and videography. And when we found the hall, we kind of fell in love with the whole place. It's a really old building, and our studio was located up in the back of this old building, but it has this old hall attached to it, which we thought it would be great to maybe do a couple shows there at some point. And we ended up signing the lease for this building just about 2 weeks before the COVID pandemic shut everything down. So it was kind of a scary time because we had this beautiful space and we were setting up shop and we bought all this equipment for it, and then we had no way to pay for it. And then when everything kind of shut down, I remember kind of feeling what I first kind of felt like when I first got into creating music, like coming home from high school and there'd be nothing to do, so I'd just sit and play guitar for hours. And it was kind of like, I love that part of making music and creating because you're doing it for no reason outside of the joy of doing it. And I found that as I got farther and farther along in my musical journey, that I was creating because I felt like I had to, or keep up with something, or feed the media machine by putting content out and everything. So during COVID, there was no gigs to play, nobody was going out, there was no show to promote. So it was kind of a really, really nice time to reset everything and feel like an artist just because you wanted to make something, because you were passing time, because you were having fun. There was no deadline on anything, there was no place to be. So I kind of got to really explore so many elements of writing and the craft that I've never got to explore before. This whole creative time point put me in that shift to make this album, but I didn't know it at the time, because towards the end of COVID, I remember getting kind of tired of the lone wolf thing, and I think everyone was getting a little tired on the solitude of it, and you can't go out and see your friends, you can't go down to a local pub and catch some live music, you can't go to a show. It was just a strange time, and when I started missing that connection and things started to feel a little bit safer, I started calling up some musician friends of mine for some songs that I was writing that were based around band stuff. And that's kind of what sparked this idea to eventually create an album based around this idea of everyone playing live, tracking in a room together.